MG's brand new mid-sized SUV is here, and it comes bearing the weight of expectation. Though the HS only arrived in Australia in late 2019, MG is already launching a new generation which brings the mid-sized SUV more in line with other models in its showrooms. It now wears the brand's latest design language on the outside, which is understated yet stylish in its own right. You'll notice it bears a striking resemblance to the latest MG3 in particular, and it's a step away from the brand's cheaper cars from the past 10 years. The inside in particular is a reflection of that, because it has seen a significant overhaul. It's headlined by dual 12.3-inch displays, which share the same panel for a more streamlined appearance, while there's also fresh materials and extra storage. On test here is the range-topping 2025 mg HS Essence. Like the previous HS, the new one features a 1.5-litre turbocharged engine with a dual-clutch transmission. However, both the engine and transmission have been refined to make the HS nicer to drive. There are no plug-in hybrid models yet, but they are due to arrive in the first half of this year. Once they are here, MG anticipates they could prove to be in higher demand than their standard petrol counterparts. All of the enhancements and added tech comes at a premium, because this top-spec model is $7,000 more expensive than its older equivalent. Is the new model worth the price increase, or does the old model still have everything you need? How much does the MG HS cost? The petrol HS range has increased in price for 2025, including a hefty hike of $7,000 on the top-spec Essence variant. What is the MG HS like on the inside? If you've tried the latest in MG's catalog, the HS cabin won't surprise you. If you haven't, you'd be forgiven for thinking it was from a different brand entirely. MG's new design language has brought with it a new philosophy on interior design. Where the old HS was more traditional with its modest center screen and analog instrument cluster, the new model has shifted to a borderline minimalist setup headlined by a large dual-screen display. Gone is the instrument cluster of old, replaced with a 12.3-inch digital screen that shares a panel with an infotainment display of the same size, much like you'd find in a new Hyundai or Kia. It's clean and clear, which is exactly what you want when you want to see key vehicle info at a glance. It switches between light and dark backgrounds depending on whether the headlights are on or not, and it doesn't waste time doing so when you pass through a tunnel or under a wide bridge. Equally, the instrument display is minimalist in its layout, which may not work for everyone but does mean there's a place for everything where you'd expect it. The key variable on the screen is the information panel on the right, which you can navigate using a button on the steering wheel. The only real gripe we could find with the screen was it had the potential to be obscured depending on where the seat and steering wheel were adjusted. Thankfully, it's only the top corners that could be cut off, and a quick peek behind the wheel revealed it was only some blank space that was hidden. While the infotainment display is handsome and well integrated, there are some aspects that could be cumbersome to deal with in the long run. One is the way the climate control system is set up, because you can't operate it by a typical button arrangement or dedicated digital display. It instead resides entirely within the infotainment screen. There is a dedicated menu here, but if you're using Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, it can only be accessed via the infotainment system's home screen or by pressing one of the less direct buttons below. On the native home screen there's a dedicated panel, but it still feels like there's enough space to have a small dedicated display on the dashboard below. It's understandably similar to the setup in something like an MG4, though it's no less inconvenient here. Our brief time with the car also revealed another issue with the infotainment system, and that was that Apple CarPlay would not activate. The new HS only offers a wired connection, but even with the physical link it just wouldn't work. As a result, you do lose some functionality, but MG makes up for it with its native software. For example, you get satellite navigation as standard, which in the Excite and Essence can also be shown on right side of the instrument cluster at the press of a button. Both screens have crisp graphics, and while they are relatively simple in terms of layout, it does make it easy to find what you're looking for. There's a vertical array of touchscreen buttons for key shortcuts. Generally, the presentation of the interior is stylish and the materials are all high quality and nice to either look at or interact with, regardless of variant.